Hey there, fellow marketers, Professor Wolters here, and today we're here in beautiful Savannah, Georgia. And what I want to talk about today is actually pricing, or what you should realize about pricing before you actually set the price for your product or your service, because there's a lot of things you have to consider even before you get into the idea of how much does it cost for me to actually make this product. And the first thing I always tell people is, look, you got to start by doing really good research about the price, okay? What are the important things, that are important to people? Like, if I'm buying a computer, what's going to drive the price? Oh, it's not, oh, it's a prettier screen. I don't care about that. What's important to me is how powerful the processor is. That's going to be a key price thing that people will be like, hey, I'm willing to pay more money for that better processor. And you kind of do your research on these things to develop that price, because you have to figure out is, what is my competition pricing? What is the industry overall pricing? What are people willing to buy? What prices? What do they mean? All these kind of things, you really need to do a lot of research beforehand before you price, so you don't price incorrectly, because you don't want to price something too high and then nobody buys it, or too low where you could have made a lot more money off of it. So you got to think about these things. And that's why you're continuously monitoring pricing. Your pricing, your competition's pricing, other people in the market, the substitute products. And we're trying to keep track of all this so we can see is, hey, did our competition lower prices? Do we need to lower prices too? Or did our competition raise prices and their sales didn't go down? Maybe we can raise our prices as well. So you have these things you have to do. So you're doing that research, you're monitoring the prices, so you have those things down pat. Because the thing is, not everyone will understand price differences. I know when I moved back to the US a few years ago, everybody was going to Chipotle, and I'm like, why are you spending $8 on a burrito at this Chipotle place when there's, El Patio Mexican restaurant right down the street, and it's like $5 for a great burrito and it gets all the extras? I don't understand this. And that's the thing. If the price differences, people don't understand why they should be paying more for something, you as a company need to make sure that you're talking about that value proposition. Why is it that the Chipotle burrito is worth $8 versus $5? Because you may think it's obvious as a company, but your customers, they might not. So you got to make sure you're explaining that to them. So what you have to realize is that customers compare prices on a relative scale. Like if I'm looking at fast food restaurants, I have an idea of what those prices are, right? I have a comparison, like, oh, fast food, I expect to get a burger for like $1 to $3, and their meals are going to be $5 to $8, kind of stuff like that. But if I go to a sit-down restaurant, I realize that kind of scale, I'm going to be looking for a $12 to $16 burger, right? I mean, that's why TGI Fridays and Chili's have one price of burgers, McDonald's, Hardee's, and Culver's have a different price, because it's a relative scale. I mean, think about it. If you're looking for a family sedan, you already have an idea of the price range. Okay, what is that Toyota Camry? What is that Honda Accord? What is that price there? And you have that idea versus, yes, I'm going to buy a luxury car. Well, you have a different kind of relative scale for that. Because a lot of times people aren't really looking at an absolute cost, which leads to the next thing you need to know about pricing is people actually don't look for an exact price. They look for a relative price, or they look in price ranges. I mean, think about it. You go to buy a car, they ask you, what are you looking to spend? Oh, $25,000, $30,000. Okay, that gives me a price range. You don't go in and say, I'm looking to buy a car for $26,966. What? No, like it's more of a range you're looking for. Kind of like if you're looking to get an apartment or you're looking for a house, you're kind of like, I'm looking for an apartment that's in, $500 to $600 range per month. I can do that with my new job. You have to think about those things. So people are really looking for prices in a price range, not a specific price. And that's one thing you got to kind of take into consideration. And the thing is, another thing that people don't realize about pricing is that pricing information is vitally important to customers, especially when you have all these prices and all this information online. People want to know is, what am I going to be paying for this? I mean, how many times have you seen an ad online? There might have been one before this video that said, hey, want to make sure you're getting a good price on your car? Go to our website and we'll tell you exactly what people in your neighborhood paid for that car. So people want to know these things. So information is very key for the customer. And I know a lot of people, a lot of companies, they don't want to share that pricing because, oh, then our competitors know our price and then they'll just do it $1 less, or then people will expect us to pay that price and our services are worth so much more than that. But the thing is, people are looking up prices. They want to know as much information as they can about the prices. So you might want to let people know, like, this is the price range. This is what you're going to be looking for. That's why when you see those car commercials, they show the really fancy car. They're like, yes, get the new Toyota Accord starting from $29,900. And then on the bottom it says, like, the little asterisk, model shown is 42,000. you want to make sure you realize people want to know is like, look, that's not the car you're getting at 26. This you're getting at 42 is what you're getting. These are the things you got to think about with that information. Another thing I look at is also realize that a lot of times people compare prices to the historical prices in your mind. Now, things you buy often, little price increases over time, you don't notice so much because, hey, I've been going to McDonald's for years, obviously, and I don't notice that the prices went up a little bit here or there because I'm constantly buying it. Where you're gonna have issues with pricing and price hikes over time is if people are buying products infrequently. Like, how often do you buy a dishwasher? Or how often do you buy, a laundry machine? These kind of things. You're like, wait a minute, man, they've gotten so expensive. It kind of like the shock of the price change over that time period. That's where people have that like sticker shock. Buying homes, college education. I know when I started being a professor in the US, I went to the same school. I taught at the same school I went to, and I'm like, oh my gosh, how expensive has school gotten? And they're like, hey, we've held tuition pretty stable the last few years. I'm like, but it's so much more than it was when I went to school. And then I'm like, well, I did go to school quite a few years ago, so you have that. So you got to think about people look at historical pricing as well. And just one more thing I think is important to look at in pricing that you should really think about is price reductions or price increases can have vastly different effects on products and sales on those products depending on the type of product it is. Because sometimes, hey, a sale might inspire people to buy, but sometimes a sale might make people go, do I want to buy that? I mean, think about it. If you see a dress on sale, you're like, I like that dress, it's on sale, why not grab it, right? Or you might see a shirt on sale, I'll grab that. I mean, why not buy one, get one free? Sure, I'll go for that. But what if you're at the grocery store and all of a sudden they have all meat 90% off? Wait a minute. Why is all the meat 90% off? Did something happen? Do I need to be worried here? Kind of things like that. So those price reductions or price increases can have really dramatic effects, sometimes good or sometimes bad. So that's why you do that research. That's why you monitor things and pricing to make sure you know what's going to happen. So I hope this helps you know a few things that you should know about pricing before you actually set the prices of your products and services. I wish you all the best as you're studying for an exam, and have a great time with all your pricing fun out there. And bye from Savannah, Georgia.